So these are some films. How many of you guys, like, wait, how old are you guys though? Some of this stuff is pretty.
This guy's a senior.
Cool, all right, cool. So City of God.
Guys, write these down.
All right, so for you female filmmakers in here, I want you guys all to see this film. All the guys watch this one too though. Called Fish Tank.
Oh, Andrew Arnold was here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Y'all met Andrew Arnold?
We're the director here, yeah.
Man, that's awesome, man. have you guys seen Fish Tank yet? Y'all saw Watch, for sure.
Yeah.
About the mom left her baby, y'all saw it the other day. See Fish Tank, great.
Iranian film. This film is amazing.
This film is set in Tehran, Iran. This is set in the UK. This is set in France. This was set in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's another film. How many of you guys like documentaries? Documentaries are amazing. Everybody should be watching a lot of documentaries. This one is an animated documentary. That's about war and human memory. Walks with Bashir. It's pretty intense. I think you guys are enough to handle it. That's a bunch. And then another one called, you guys really get into this one. So this is another film that's set in France. And it was heavily inspired by a lot of the early films in the 90s, like Do the Right Thing, Boys in the Hood. But this is, and it's also dealing with a lot of issues between urban youth and the police, you know. So you guys write these down, check these out. Some of them are on Netflix. Some of them you guys might have to borrow from one of your teachers or something, you know. But no, those are some of my favorite films that you know that are set, you know, outside of the U.S.
Are there any negatives from being a filmmaker in your perspective? Like, is there anything that you regret doing in the past?
Yeah, you know, it's positive and negative to everything in life. That's kind of how the universe is organized, you know. Yeah, I mean the negatives that come with this art form are that it tends to be very all-consuming, you know. You work long hours. It's kind of an obsessive thing when you're working on a film. That's kind of all you're thinking about. It's all you have time for. And because of that, oftentimes it leaves little room for other things. You know, for personal life, for seeing your family. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people who are successful, you know, those things tend to struggle. You know, you see a lot of your favorite directors have been married like 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean? Or you see, you know, filmmakers who will say, you know, I wish I spent more time with my children than I did. But I think that all facets of life have those things. They have those traps that you kind of have to make sure that you manage, make sure that you pay attention to. You know.
Do you feel that when you make films that you inherit some of the things in the film, like the themes and the traits of the characters?
Absolutely. I mean, it's impossible not to. Does everybody hear his question?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible not to. And I think that artists in general are people who are very empathetic. You know what I mean? They're people who are very responsive to human emotions and how other people are feeling. So yeah, I mean, I think that when you work on a film, you definitely take on characteristics of the characters that you bring into life, characteristics of the people that you're working with. You know, characteristics of the essence of the story. You know, if you're doing a story about something that's sad, you know what I mean, it's a very high chance that you can get, you get a little depressed. You know what I mean? I would worry about somebody if they didn't. But it's something that you gotta constantly be conscious of. So that you don't let it sway you too much.
Before film, you said you were playing football. Were you?
Yeah, I play football.
So how was it, like, how comfortable were you from switching to something that's so complete, the opposite?
You know what's funny is So her question was, how comfortable was I switching from being a football player to being a filmmaker? What's crazy is that it's not all that different. It actually, a lot of my greatest lessons that I learned from football helped me, tremendously with being a filmmaker. And I've also discovered that a lot of really talented filmmakers played some type of organized team sport for most of their life, coming up. Barry Jenkins played football in Florida for quite some time. Another filmmaker that's New York based named Kerry Fukunaga played football quite a bit. So making movies is a massive team sport. That's basically what it is. And what playing football teaches you is that no one person is bigger than the team. No matter what position. Everybody has to take small steps every day towards reaching a common goal. And it makes you comfortable working with a lot of people with big personalities.
Did you like filmmaking before you entered college, or is it something you just kind of fell in love with when you were at USC?
It's something that I fell in love with actually before USC when I was in undergraduate school. When I was playing football and going to school for chemistry and business, like at Sacramento State. That's when I discovered that I really loved it. But like when I look back on my life, I always liked watching movies. I always liked to read. I always liked to tell stories. I was a good liar as a kid. It's a habit I've given up. but yeah, there were definitely traces there when I look back. Like I would find books that I had written in, and like I made up stories as a kid, or I drew pictures and would do certain things. I remember I did a presentation in school, and I got in front of my whole class and told them I was an alien. And I was like, dead serious. So it was weird stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I didn't know that specifically. I didn't know that specifically, you know what I mean? I wanted to become a filmmaker until I was in college. That's one of the cool things about college.
What motivated you to make the movie? Like, was it out of sympathy for what was the guy's name?
Oscar.
Oscar. Was it out of sympathy for Oscar, or was it just because you think it would be a great movie to make, or what?
It was for a lot of reasons, man. Like not sympathy for him as much as identifying with him, though. You know what I'm saying? As much as because of like some external facts, being able to put myself in his shoes much easier. In the same way that if you guys ever been watching a sporting event or watching anything, and you see somebody from your own neighborhood, and they do something good, you feel like it's you, like you're doing that yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Or if you see somebody who's from a similar ethnic background from you, you know what I'm saying? Like how many people, like if you might, let's say you're Dominican, right? And you see somebody on American Idol that's Dominican, you know what I'm saying? Like don't you find yourself like rooting for him, even more? Yeah, for some reason how human relationships work is for some reason we can often identify easier with somebody who has similar outward characteristics, And for me, Oscar and I had a lot of similar characteristics. We were the same age, same ethnicity, from the same place, had similar friends, we're in the same area. So because of that, I had strong ties to what happened to him. I feel like as if it happened to myself, even though I didn't know him. But at the same time, I kind of feel guilty because of that. Because that kind of is the same thing that when switched into a negative way, can kind of lead to treating somebody different who doesn't look like you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of ask myself, damn, why do I feel this way for Oscar as opposed to feeling this way when something happens to somebody in New York, or when something happens to somebody in India or somewhere else, when the person doesn't look like me so much. Why don't I empathize, in that fashion, and that question more than anything is what got me making the film.
Can you speak to the amount of research you did? Because my favorite thing about the film is that you constructed all the text messages that he actually sent during that day, and you wove that into creating your narrative for what happens to him in the story. How much research did that take? How long did that take to do? Were there any kind of iffy permissions where you had to track down the people he was texting?
Right. Yeah. So for the film is based a lot on research, and the court case was a heavily documented one, and it was a public one. So when I say it was public, like all the testimonies, everybody who took the stand, what they said was public record. So, and I also had a really great friend who was in law school while I was in film school, who was also from Oakland. And an ironic turn of events, he ended up graduating from law school and working for the attorney that was in charge of Oscar's case. So when they were looking for people to help with the film footage and to help organize that, he came to me, and I saw a lot of the footage, and I had access to a lot of the things that they used in trial. You guys professors talking about the text messages. We use text messages in the film. This happened in 2000, basically on the first day of 2009, and right around that time was when that was around the time when the iPhone had been out for a little bit, and people were really starting to communicate the way that we communicate now with text messages, and that technology had a huge impact on what happened with Oscar. Had that happened 10 years earlier, people wouldn't have had cell phones that could record what was going on with them, and it would have been just a story that you read in the paper. His word against a dead guy's word against a cop. You know what I'm saying? And maybe a few witnesses. But because we had the technology available for people to start recording right there in their pockets, you know what I mean? This case became what it was, and everybody around the world became witness to these events through that footage. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we put an emphasis on the technology that was available at that time and how people were communicating and how it was changing. And how many of you guys prefer to text than talk? Like you guys are a little younger than me. How many of you guys would rather text message somebody than jump on the phone? So that's most of you. I mean, that's a really profound thing. That's very, very new. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were to ask me or to ask these folks, we're probably the opposite because we came up in a different time when we used to talking to people. You know what I'm saying? We use text messaging. We're good at it, but I mean it's a very huge shift in the paradigm of how humans communicate. So I wanted to kind of capture that.
Question. I lived in Oakland at the time of that. I'm Bay native actually, but I lived there when that was happening. Like hot topic. Like everyone was consumed by that issue.
Right.
Were you nervous about making a movie that everyone was watching, everyone knew what it was about, and people had very polarized views on that issue? So were you nervous about
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
putting your opinion out there or your view?
No, definitely nervous. I mean, what made me feel better about it was the fact that I knew what my point of view would be. And I knew my point of view would be telling his story through the relationships that meant the most to him as a person. And what happened with Oscar is, once he was killed and once his case became public, a lot of people took ownership of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people that didn't know him and didn't have a relationship with him at all, took ownership, and he became something. Like you often find people talking about Oscar that never met him in his life, but they'll tell you what Oscar was. He was a thug. You know what I'm saying? He was a drug dealer guy. Or he was a really cool guy. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't have happened to him. But what I felt was the right thing about our project was that I was going to the people that he mattered to before he was shot. You know what I'm saying? The people that he meant the world to before this thing happened to him. You know what I mean? Talking to his daughter, to his mom, to his friends, to some of his enemies. You know what I mean? That knew him before this situation happened. So in doing that, I thought I was giving a voice to people that had kind of been drowned out by all of the stuff that came after. But I was incredibly nervous. I'm always nervous. I'm nervous right now. I'm talking to you guys. And I think that nervousness helps make you sharp.
We want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
I wish we could have you for we'll watch the film. Is there a way we can get in contact with you if we have any more questions?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, cool.
I can blow this email up right here.
Don't worry, it's only on camera, right? I'll blur it out.
I'm terrible at email though. I always read them. I'm not the best at getting back lately. I'm making improvements though. Y'all can hear me right. Y'all can hear me right. I want to see you guys in the movie, man, more than anything. I hear so many great things about you guys. This is my first time in the Bronx. So thanks for the warm welcome. All right, so guys.
Thank you, Mr. Coogler. I saw 3 times readers, They're all gonna see it. All gonna see it. Thank you.
Guys.
All right, guys, before we go,
Mr. Stevens,
anyway, I don't know. Anyway. So, all right.
Yo, shoot.
So, all right. Good So tomorrow we have the quiz on a painful case. Read the next story. You don't have to. We're not going to do a quiz on it. There's going to be no quiz. We're going to do a close reading of it. We have double tomorrow. Ivy Day in the committee room. We're just going to talk about it, but there's going to be an exit slip with that. It's going to be 2 grades. Exit slip for Ivy Day in the committee room, really easy. And we're going to spend most of the double on a painful case because it is such a sad and beautiful and moving story. Big epiphany in there. Keep your eyes out for that. They'll be quite as soon as it comes out. The thing is, I would be shocked. Hold on, guys. I would be shocked if he doesn't get at least nominated for an Oscar. The film was that good.
Really?
And you might, like, who knows, like, you're recording, still recording, whatever.
Yeah. Stop it?
Yeah, you can stop it. Who knows, maybe like 2 months from now, it'll be like, oh my God, we spoke to